Good afternoon, class. In today's lecture, we will see that inverter topology with RLC load. So this is the topology of full bridge inverter structure in which 4 thyristors are required as well as the 4 diodes are required to form the bridge structure. So this is the switching logic table which is will already discussed in previous lectures. So this is the combined logic table for half bridge as well as full bridge configurations. So we will earlier see that when thyristors are conducting, then power will be positive. So power will be positive in the sense the power will be flowing from source to load side. So this is a half bridge topology in which switching sequence are devices are T1, D1, T2, D2. This will already discussed in previous lecture. So go through the previous lecture to understand this topology, how this sequences comes. Now full bridge topology. So in full bridge topology, in full bridge R load case, we will see that the two thyristors are conducting at a time. So two thyristors are conducting when T1, T2 are conducting. Let us see the first case when V naught positive, I naught positive. So when T1 and T2 are conducting, the path for the current to be Vs, which is the DC voltage, or we can say that this is a DC bus voltage. So current will be flowing from the source Vs T1 through this load and again back to the T2 and come to the source side. So this is the path for the current to flow. So in this case, the reference polarity for the load side, that is plus, is connected to supply side positive polarity, and at the same time this negative polarity of the load is connected to the supply voltage negative polarity. So if you apply the KVL, then we will see that output voltage across this load is equals to supply voltage. So in the output, full DC voltage is obtained in case of T1, T2 are conducting, and the voltage polarity is positive. At the same time, current polarity is positive as according to the reference polarity shown by the arrow marks. So this will be the conduction of full bridge case. And after this, D1, D2 are conducting. So in case of D1, D2, we will earlier see that the current will be flowing from this side D2 and D1. So now in this case, current will be negative and as well as the voltage is positive. So this the conduction of devices in full bridge case is it T1, T2 firstly conduct, and after D1, D2, then T3, T4, and then D3, D4 are conducting. So this is the switching logic table. According to which we will see that in case of thyristors on, then power will be positive, that is power will be flowing from source to load side, and in case of diodes, power will be flowing from load side to source side, that is regenerative concept is come into the picture. So this is the full bridge topology with RLC load. Now we'll come to the waveform side. So this is the two gate pulses are given, Ig1 and Ig2. Ig1 is given for the T1, T2 case, and Ig2 is given from T3, T4 case. So 4 thyristors, so two gate pulses are required because two thyristors are conducting at a time. So single gate pulse is required for the conduction of the two thyristors. Now we'll come to this output voltage waveform across the load side. So this voltage waveform for any load, that is R, RL, L, RL load, it is same because we will see in earlier lecture that voltage across the VSI is independent of any kind of load, but at the same time current will be depending upon the load. So this is the voltage waveform in which T1, D1 are conducting. After that T2, D2, and this is the sequence is coming because it's a half bridge structure case. I will draw the waveform, and in case of full bridge structure, then T1, T2, then D3, D4 are conducting. So this is the current waveform in case of RL load. So here I will be showing the current waveform for all the load cases, that is RL, L, RLC. So this is the just summary of the previous lectures. So in which we will see that this waveform is drawn for the half bridge as well as full bridge case. So this is the waveform for RL load. So in case of RL load, we will see that the current will be exponential in nature. So when the inductor is charges, current will be linearly rising, and and when inductor discharges, current will be falling in the nature. And this is the quality of the devices as we will see that for the positive voltage is positive for 0 to T/2 duration. So if the voltage is positive and current is negative there, so overall we will see that the voltage positive, current negative, so diode D1 is conducting. So diode D1 is conducting in case of half bridge topology, but in case of full bridge topology, diodes D1, D2 are conducting here. Why I lagging this voltage waveform by 5? Because it is a RL load case. So we will assume that in steady state, this current waveform lags the voltage by an angle of 5, which is given by tan inverse of XL by R. And again after this, voltage positive, current positive, so that thyristors are conducting. So in half bridge case, only single thyristor is conducting. that is T1, and in case of full bridge, T1 T2 are conducting because voltage is positive, current is positive. You will see that this is the conduction of T1 here, and this is the conduction of T1 T2 there. And after that, when D2 conducting, the inductor discharges to the diode D2. So in case the current is positive but voltage is negative, so power will be negative. And in case of full bridge structure, D3 D4 are conducting. So in this way we will draw the waveform and mark the polarities. And if we go through the L load case, then in inductive load case, so output voltage is the voltage across the inductor. So because pure inductive load case is there, so we will write the VL equals to be L di by dt. So if you want to make the waveform nature of this current through the inductor, then we will simply write I is equals to 1 by L integration of VL dt. So here voltage waveform is in a square wave shape. So if we do this step waveform integration, then it will be linear in nature. So it will be a straight line type of waveform. So we will just draw the straight line in case of this current waveform. So we will write the straight line case when the inductor charges, and when the case of inductor is charged, then we will draw it just a negative slope waveform which is falling in the nature through this straight line. So this is the polarities. Again we mark by seeing the voltage and current waveforms. We will write the conduction of devices. And now we'll go through the RLC and our damped as well as underdamped case. So in previous lecture we will see that in case of half bridge VSI with RLC loads, so in when the XC is greater than XL, so it is a leading load type case, and in this case it is an underdamped because delta is less than 1, so damping factor is less than 1, and XC greater than XL, so it is a leading case. So we will draw the waveform from by leading case. So we will draw the waveform from here, and it is leading by a voltage, but leading the voltage by an angle of phi. And in underdamped case we will see that the after conduction of T1 diode D1 is conducting, so it will make the diode reverse bias, so it will automatically turn off. So there is no forced commutation is required for the turning of these thyristors. But in case of this RLC lagging load case, so in this case XL greater than XC, so it is lagging load case or overdamped case. So in this case current will be lagging by an angle of phi with the voltage, but here diode D2 will not make reverse bias or not apply the reverse bias voltage to thyristor T1. So here forced commutation is required for the turning of this thyristor T1. So we will see that the self commutation is possible in case of this leading load case, while in the case of lagging load case self commutation is not possible, or we can say that forced commutation is required. So this is the waveform in the case of RLC load case. We will easily draw this by making the lagging as well as leading load cases. And this is the RLC overdamped case. We will see that XL greater than XC, so it is a lagging one, and after steady state I naught lags V naught by 5, so tan inverse XL minus XC by R. Why XL minus XC? Because XL will be greater than of XC. And forced commutation is required in case of RLC underdamped case, and XC greater than XL, it is a leading load case, so phi should be given by tan inverse of XC minus XL by R. So load commutation is possible. Load commutation in the sense self commutation is possible by supply voltage polarity. Device will be turned off automatically. And this is the mathematical analysis, or in case that is a Fourier series analysis. Let us consider the Fourier waveform, which is V naught equals to summation n equals to 135 for VDC divided by n pi, or Vs should be equals to VDC or source voltage, which is DC in the nature. So it is 4 VDC divided by n pi sin n omega naught t. And this waveform is similar for all the load cases because voltage waveform will not change in in all the previous cases. So this is a Fourier waveform. And if you want to write the output current across the load, then simply do V0n divided by Zn. Zn is the load impedance of nth harmonic. So if we write the Zn, that is in magnitude as well as phase form, then it is Zn modulus angle of phi n, and where Zn will be given by R plus J XLN minus XCN, where XLN equals to nth harmonic inductive impedance of the load, and this is the XC capacitive reactance of the nth harmonic component, and it will be written as a n omega L, or XC should be 1 upon n omega C. And we will take this Zn to be upper side, then we will see that it is a V0 divided by Zn modulus, and it will be upper side, so it will written like the minus phi n. So phi n will be calculated according to tan inverse XLN minus XCN divided by R in case of lagging load case, and in case of leading load case XC minus XL divided by R. So so in this way we will do the calculation for the load current waveform. And this is the I0n waveform. In general cases it is 4 Vs divided by n pi modulus of Zn sin n omega t minus phi n. Why I am taking minus phi n? Because I will be considering the leading load case. So in leading load case current will be just shifting or leads the voltage waveform by an angle of phi. So we'll write the phi n should be there. And for pure inductive load case, if we want to take the pure inductive load case, then Zn should be equals to only XLN, which is given by n omega L. So here I am considering inductive load case. Inductive load case, impedance equals to just the inductive reactance equal to inductive reactance, and phi n equals to 90 degree because current lags the voltage by an angle of pure 90 degree, because inductor voltage just lead the current waveform by an angle of 90 degree. So phi n should be 90 degree. So if we put this parameters, then we will calculate the I0n, which equals to 4 Vs divided by n pi. Put Zn modulus equals to n omega L, and phi n should be 90 degree. So from this we will see that I naught is inversely proportional to 1 upon n square, because 4 is constant, Vs VDC voltage is input voltage is constant, frequency is constant, and so it's all parameters are constant. So we will see that the I0n is proportional to 1 upon n square. So in this manner we will see that the nth harmonic current is inversely proportional to 1 upon n square. So if n harmonic number is changing, then the current waveform is also changing. So in this, waveform of the L load triangular wave instead of exponential. So in L load, waveform should be triangular, as we see the upper side. Here we see the for the pure inductive load case, it is a triangular in the nature. And we will come further, then we will see that this is the fundamental calculation. If I01 equals to RMS value of fundamental component of load current, so how we will calculate the fundamental component? Simply putting n equals to 1 in the Fourier series waveform. So we'll calculate the fundamental load power. How we calculate fundamental load power? It is equals to I01 square into R, or V01 RMS I01 RMS into cos of phi 1. What is cos phi 1? It is a fundamental displacement factor. So phi 1 is the angle between the fundamental voltage and the fundamental current. What is the V01? It is the RMS value of fundamental output voltage. So how we will calculate the fundamental RMS voltage? Simply take the maximum of this voltage, which is 4 Vs divided by n pi. It is a maximum value of fundamental component. If you put the n equals to 1, and if we will divide this by root 2, then it is the RMS value of the fundamental component. So in this way we will calculate the fundamental RMS component of the voltage. And phi is equals to, which is the power factor angle of the load, and phi is equals to omega Tc. What is the omega Tc? Tc is the circuit turn off time. This circuit turn off time is defined as the duration for which thyristor is in reverse bias. So thyristor is in reverse bias for up to Tc time, which is circuit turn off time. So in above case we will see that the diode is conducting for the angle of phi. So when diodes are conducting, thyristors are switched off. So thyristors applied a reverse bias voltage up to an angle of phi. So phi is equals to omega Tc. So how we calculate the Tc? It is a 1 by omega into phi. Put the value of phi, tan inverse Xc minus XL by R. So Tc greater than Tq. What is the Tq? It is a device turn off time, and Tc is the circuit turn off time. If this circuit turn off time is greater than the device turn off time, load commutation is possible. Load commutation in the sense self commutation is possible. But when Tc less than equals to Tq, commutation fails or forced commutation required. So this Tc and Tq concept we already discovered in the diode reverse recovery characteristics, so in which we'll deeply understand this, how Tc greater than Tq load commutation is possible. So in this way, or further we will calculate the power requirement, which is similar as in half bridge case. So in this way we will complete this whole voltage source inverter topology with single phase and for the different load cases. So in this way we will complete this inverter lecture on single phase, and we will continue this inverter lecture series with 3-phase load case. Thank you for listening patiently.